And we are live. What is up, guys? How is it going? You got Daysha here coming to you live from Amadon, North Dakota with another Daily Dose with Daysha podcast episode. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic day today. So right now we are live on my YouTube channel. So as you guys start jumping on, drop a hashtag live in the comments below. That way I can give you a proper shout out and just say thank you for spending a little bit of time with me here today. Who do we got jumping on so far? Tony, what is up, bro? Hey, how is it going? Thank you so much for jumping on here with me today. So, in today's episode, I want to talk about 3 things to help you be successful in anything. Now, the reason why I started this episode is because I've noticed a lot of the time that there's so many people out there that are so close to getting to that success, but then they end up quitting, right? And it could be because they were just uncertain with what was going on. And I've done this myself included, right? Like they think that they're not good enough, or they just don't think that what they're doing is the right thing. They're not sure that it's the right thing. So, with that being said, that's what I want to go ahead and get into here. As you guys start jumping on, like I said, drop a hashtag live in the comments below if you are jumping on the live. Drop a hashtag replay in the comments below if you are jumping on the replay. Let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, and we are back. So let's go ahead and jump right into the first one. So when it comes to the very first one that's going to help you being successful in anything out there, the first one is vision. Now, what I mean by vision, I'm not saying that like you need to think, oh, like I want more money in the world, right? Or I want to have a good relationship, or I want to be better inside of the world. I'm not talking those little things like that. I'm talking a very clear vision, because a lot of the times people aren't clear, right? They have this vague idea of what it is that they want, but they're not 100%. And the reason for that is we're not taught how to really find what our perfect vision is. But if you think about it, it makes sense, right? If you were to go up to McDonald's and be like, okay, I want some food, right? If you don't tell them exactly what you want, you're not going to be able to get it, right? It makes sense. So let's go ahead and jump into how we can actually find being able to have a clear vision. When it comes to having a clear vision, there's a couple things that you can use, but one thing that I really like is called 7 layers deep. And this technique is something that I learned inside of the book Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi. And basically, you start asking yourself questions, right? He talks about this using this strategy so that you can figure out your why behind what it is that you want. But I also use it to find what is it that I truly do want, because oftentimes I don't know, right? We're human, we change a lot, things are changing in our minds, so we have to be able to adapt to that. So this is how it goes, right? The strategy goes, first off, you basically just ask yourself the question, what do I want, right? If the answer is, well, I want more money, okay, well, the next question is going to be, well, how much money do you want? If you say, well, I want to be able to make $10,000 per month. Okay, well, that's awesome. Why is it that you want to actually make $10,000 a month? Why is it that specific number, right? So we're going to go to the 3rd layer deep. Well, that would be able to take care of my bills. It would allow me to buy a house, a trailer, be able to take care of my family's debt and just pay it all off. Okay, well, why is it that it's important for you to be able to take care of all of those? Well, if I take care of all of those, then I won't have to worry about money anymore. Let's go another layer deep. Okay, well, why is it important for you to not have to worry about money anymore? Well, then I wouldn't be so stressed and angry all the time. Well, why do you want to stop being so stressed and angry all the time? Well, because I feel I've been lacking or providing for my family and making it hard for them with all of my stresses around money, and it would take care of that. Okay, well, next question. Why is it important for you to make sure you are providing for your family and not putting the stress on them? Well, I had the exact same thing happen to me growing up. And I don't want the same thing to happen to my family where they're having to worry about money as well. Well, here's the last question. Why is it important for them not to worry about money the same way you did? Well, because if I do, I would kind of feel like a failure, right? If my family have to go through the same exact thing, and I wouldn't be happy. Basically, all I want to do is be happy. What this does, right, when you're going through these 7 layers deep, Instead of you just going that one layer saying, oh, I want more money, when you start going 7 layers into what it is that you truly want, you start forming this connection, right? Instead of it just being this vision of, oh, yeah, I want this thing, right? It's something where you can actually see yourself having and understanding, why is it that I want this, right? Yeah, I get that I want this, but why, right? Why is it so intensely that I want this? And if you can form that full connection, that full feeling behind that, it's going to help you with being able to really dive deeper and actually push yourself through those hard times, right? Because when you have a vision of accomplishing something great, accomplishing something big, like making 10,000 a month, 20,000 a month, owning your own business, anything like that, right? It can be hard, right? You're going to have to go through some massive struggles. And to get through those struggles, you're going to have to keep going back to that why and being clear on what it is that you want. So the first thing, right, is to have a very clear vision and basically just know your why behind that specific vision. The second thing that you need, let's go and jump into that there. And as you guys start jumping on, if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, drop it in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them here on the podcast episode. So the second thing that you're going to need is a vehicle. Now, what I mean as far as a vehicle goes is you're going to need some way to be able to get up to that vision, right? If your vision is to get to $10,000 a month, how are you going to get there, right? Think of it like this. If you're wanting to get to New York and right now you're living in California, you're going to have to find some way to get there, right? It's not just going to magically pop up and happen. You're going to have to take a plane or a bus or a car, or you could ride your bike, right? But it's going to take a very long time for you to be able to get there. So what kind of vehicle are you going to use to be able to get there? Now, this can kind of be a hard one, right? I know that for me, it was really hard to figure out, okay, what am I going to actually utilize to be able to get to that big goal of me owning my own house and having kids and doing all these great things? Well, for me, I feel like the best way to find your vehicle is to first kind of lay out your options, right? So for you personally, where you are at in your life right now, your skill sets, your knowledge level, your past experiences, what are some things that you personally could do that would help you with being able to accomplish that goal, right? Because oftentimes people say that they want to make more money and live a luxury lifestyle, but they don't do anything differently. They stay at their hourly job, they do the exact same thing, and then they get frustrated and angry and wonder why they can't get what they truly want. And this is honestly why a lot of people end up going insane. If you're just doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, what is that called? Insanity. So lay out your options, right? Could you make money online? Could you open up your own business? Could you work your way up the corporate ladder in a certain position at your current job? Could you go to college and get your degree and go ahead and get a certain job in a specific area or field that's going to help you with getting up to that $10,000 mark that you have set for yourself? What's the vehicle, right? What are you going to utilize for you? And this is going to be different for everyone, right? Like for me, it may be different. For me, like I'm doing affiliate marketing. I know how to do that now. There's a thing where I'm being able to do $1,000 commissions through one specific program. So if I want to get up to that $10,000 a month, all I got to do is sell it to 10 people, right? So I'm going to use that affiliate marketing program as my vehicle. For another person, they may have already been to college. They may have already done all of this stuff, right? So now they are just sitting at this corporate job and they don't know what they want to do next. Do they want to move up that corporate ladder? And if they do, are they able to get up to that $10,000 a month mark? If so, what things are they going to have to do for that? And that's what's going to lead into number 3. Now, before we do move forward, one thing that I want to say is you don't have to be like Mr. or Mrs. like perfect to be able to accomplish your vision or your goals, right? If you have something set for yourself, if you have an idea, a vision of what you want for your life, right? Don't think that you aren't able to achieve it, right? You don't have to come from a super rich background. You don't have to even know anything about the goal or vision that you have set for yourself. You could be starting from absolute zero, right? I'm a country kind of kid, right? From a small town in Idaho, and I didn't graduate high school, right? I didn't come from a rich family. I started from absolutely nothing, got scammed out of over $10,000 before I even started getting into any type of profit, right? So you don't have to be Mr. and Mrs. Perfect. You are able to do this. And if you're kind of confused as to, well, what are my options, right? Maybe there aren't options around me right now. That doesn't mean that they're not there. It just means that you have to start looking in different places, right? So if you can't think of anything right now, take a moment, right? Go do some research and find out what would be the perfect vehicle for you. Now, the third thing you need is a plan and a deadline, right? A plan and a deadline. So when you have your vision, right? You know, like where you want to go, you have this vehicle and how you're going to be able to get there. The last step is just to make a plan so you have clarity and you're prepared for anything that might happen. Right? Because let's face it, life isn't perfect, right? Things happen within our life that we're not going to expect. But if we can be prepared for anything that may be thrown at us, it's going to be easier to stay on top and continue to push past all of those struggles, right? So for example, right, if you're going to travel to like a new city, a new state, a new place, whatever, right, you're like, okay, I'm gonna take my family to Hawaii. You don't just say, okay, I'm gonna take my family to Hawaii and I'm gonna take a plane and that's it, right? No, you make out an entire plan for it. Well, we're gonna leave it this day and then we're gonna spend 3 days there. And while we're there, we're gonna be doing this. And then on this day, we're gonna go talk to this person. And then on this day, we're gonna fly back. And then I'm gonna be packing these clothes and some extra clothes just to make sure I'm prepared if anything happens. Because if it's a cold day, I want to make sure that I'm prepared. If it's too hot, I want to make sure I have tank tops. All of the stuff we always plan out. We sometimes over plan for things like trips for us to travel around. So why not do the same thing with our vision? So let's go ahead and say that your goal is to make $10,000 a month. You've selected your vehicle as using affiliate marketing to make that $10,000 a month. Now it's time to plan it out. I always start off with a deadline, right? Always start off with the deadline. And the reason I say this is we as humans, we get distracted very easily, right? I say it all the time. We're only about 5% conscious throughout the day, and the other 95% is run off of our subconscious, right? So if we don't have like a specific deadline on when something is going to get done, oftentimes our attention is going to be shifted somewhere else. We're not going to actually stick to what it is that we're doing. And it's just going to be a frustrating thing when we get past like 6 months later and realize, holy crap, I haven't done anything to get to where I want to be, right? So setting a deadline. I want to be able to start making $10,000 a month by blank. So April of 2021, let's say, right? The next thing that I do is I'll try to start asking myself, how will I be making this $10,000 a month, right? So if I have a vehicle of the $1,000 commissions, or maybe through my company, I'm doing $500 commissions, whatever it may be. For me specifically, it's $1,000 commissions. So if I have this vehicle of doing $1,000 commissions, I just need to take that program and sell it to 10 people within a 30-day period. That would give me $10,000 a month, right? Seems pretty simple. I'm not saying it's easy, right? But it is a simple process, and this gives you a lot more clarity along the process. So let's go ahead and get into the next step. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to take a quick drink. All right. So once you understand what it is that you're going to be doing to be able to actually get up to that 10,000, right? Like, how am I going to be able to make it? The next thing is to ask yourself, what steps am I going to be doing daily, right? And that's very important to stick that in your mind daily to ensure that I get 10 people into that program within a 30-day period. Well, for me, what I found through affiliate marketing is that it's about a 10% closing rate, right? Like that's what I've learned from my mentors. So if there's 100 people that I talk to, 10 people are more than likely going to actually come into the program. So if I ask 100 people the closing question of, would you like to join me in what I presented you today, right? About 10 of those people are going to sign up. So that's going to be 10, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start talking to about 25 people every single day. If I can talk to 25 people every day, make these connections, build these relationships, more than likely that's going to draw people into me more to actually want to do business with me. The next thing I'm going to do is start bringing in new people every day. So we have this really simple strategy. It takes like 2 hours, right? So I'll add like 30 new people every single day and be able to talk to 25 people every day within like a 2-hour period and have all of my work done in that short period of time. So talk to 25 people, add 30 new people, and then I'll ask 3 people each day if they would like to join. We call it our closing question. And I'll just make sure that I'm doing that every single day. As long as I do that, I'll be able to talk to at least 100 people and ask them the closing question over a 30-day period. And that should get me the $10,000 that I'm wanting. Now, the next thing that I like to ask myself, and the final thing, is what things am I going to do to make sure I am prepared for any mistakes, any mishaps that might end up coming my way? Because if I ask myself these questions and I have a plan kind of lined out, if something does happen, I have like a reference I can go back to, right? Rather than scrambling around and being frustrated, I wasn't more prepared, right? I'll just be prepared now. So, what things could I do? Well, first off, for me personally, and maybe you've had this as well, let me know in the comments, where your emotional state kind of takes over, right? Like you're doing good and then all of a sudden something bad happens and now you're just trying to beat up on yourself and you think that you're a bad person and you can't do this, right? So what I try to do every single day is try to do at least an hour of personal development. Basically what this does is it helps me with keeping on track with my self-love, make sure that I'm growing within my mind and that I know that I am good enough, right? Like that's a really hard thing for people to accept, is just understanding that they are good enough. So doing an hour of personal development each day will help me with that process. The second thing is every single week, I'm going to do a recap to ensure that I'm staying on track for my goal. So after a 7-day period, go back and recap. Okay, did I do 25 connections every single day? Did I keep on track with asking the right questions every single day? That way I can keep on track for the entire 4-week period. And the last thing that I would personally do is have a partner just to help me with accountability and to cover any extra work that may come about, right? Because let's face it, like I said, right? Like life isn't perfect. There's going to be things that are going to be thrown at you. And when you have a partner to help you, you guys can help with keeping each other calm, coming up with a plan that's going to be beneficial for you both and the most effective. So once you have those 3 things, you're going to feel a lot more clear and realize that you are worthy of being able to achieve anything inside of your life, because that clarity is going to trigger something within you that's like, wow, like I can actually do this. Like this is all those other people are doing. Like we are all the same. And it's kind of an amazing thing to think about. So, all right, guys, that is basically it for this podcast episode. I want to thank you so much for being here with me today. And just a reminder, you are worth it, right? Like that's a huge thing that I want you to accept and really gain from this episode today is you are worth it. You are worthy of the amazing things in this life. You are worthy of every single vision and every single idea that may pass through your mind. No goal is too large. As long as you are willing to work for it, then you're worth it, right? As long as you are willing to work for it, you are worth it. So either own it or change it. I appreciate you guys so much for being on here with me today. Make sure to add me on my podcast episode channel at anchor.fm/Daysha Hanks. And you can add me on my Instagram account at Daysha Hanks as well. I appreciate you guys again for being on here. I will see you all next week, and bye for now.